Sprout ended up becoming devoured whole from a very impressive Danish performance from Heroic, and now he moved to Nuke, the home map of Heroic, one historically they have been strong on for quite a while. It doesn't bode well for Sprout, but I always have a little bit of hope, Jake.
You always have a little bit of hope, and where do we find that hope, Vince? When I'm looking towards Sprout, I'm thinking Oscar, we need to see him step up. We didn't see it on Inferno. We know it's a tough map to be impactful with the AWP, right? But Nuke is a map that we've seen him play a lot when he was in Hell Races, when he's in Mouse Sports for that matter as well. Oscar, and especially with the shotgun on Nuke as well, he can do a lot of stuff. And as for Heroic, as you said, it's their home pick. It's Danish Counter-Strike. It's synonymous with Nuke, so it's going to be tough regardless. Sprout really have an uphill battle.
They really do, and when you consider that Cadian dropped 20 kills in the first half, I think at one point had over 150 ADR, just all the stats were lining up for him. A map like Nuke, if he's feeling it like that again, good luck to Oscar to do anything against him.
That's true, and not to forget the rest of the Heroic lineup, right? We talked about Cadian. He's not even supposed to be their star player. He's just supposed to be, you know, a decent AWP player who does his job and helps out with the calling whenever Snappy needs help with that. The big stars of that lineup, that's going to be Stavin, S-Attack, and BO3, the trio of the riflers. Super strong players, and especially on a map like Nuke, you need a strong presence on the CT side. If you have 3 strong riflers to shut down the map, a strong AWP player and a caller and Snappy that knows how to rotate around, then you're in for a good one. So I'm having a hard time seeing how Sprout can do it, but again, I have to bank on the fact that we have Oscar on the other side. We have DreamHack as well. We saw it in the beginning on Inferno, having a lot of impact, hitting some nice shots, especially in the clutch moments, but he kind of faded out. We didn't see him have any impact at all in the second half, so if he can kickstart and reset, then maybe he could be another factor that is playing the way of Sprout. Regardless, it's going to be tough.
I'd also like to just give a lot of praise and, you know, honestly, accolades to Heroic for how well they countered Oscar. It's something that Astralis have historically been very good at, as well as countering key members, especially Orpers. If you go back to Simple, you know, you start to look at a lot of other teams out there as well. Heroic were able to shut him down. At one point, it's not even that Oscar played bad, it's just he never really had a chance to show what he was capable of doing that entire map.
Exactly, and as you said, it's half, you know, Heroic's fault for playing well and making it hard for him, and half the map of Inferno's fault, right? But we gotta follow this pistol round. That's gonna be a fast one, I believe. No, slowing it down though, walking towards ramp, and there we go, explosion towards ramp now. Favin all by himself there. They're faking the ramp hit and then walking back inside, trying to stir some rotation coming in from Sprout. It worked out with Dennis. Spitty getting caught off guard as well, and is all falling apart quickly. DreamHack and Favin are the only 2 left. They'll have to hit some naughty shots if they want to win this one.
Bit of a collapse for the CTs, and it's not getting any better. DreamHack, 11 HP, 3 players to find, has a flashbang. Now pop flash is going to affect 2 players, but they've now faded away. The cobwebs have cleared, and DreamHack's woes are now starting to stack on top of one another. Snappy, S-Attack, and Borup. Nice S-Attack that gets the final shot in, and Heroic claim first blood in the second map.
Interesting little pistol strat right there from Heroic. Simply just faking it by the sound. Walking 3 guys towards ramp, jumping around, shooting, making sure that Sprout thought there was going to be a ramp hit, and then instantly walking back into it inside and just making a little bit of a sandwich in towards that inner bomb side. Worked out perfectly fine for Heroic. Saw Spitty getting completely caught off guard. Dennis as well, rotating up through the vents. Was lucky enough to hit a shot, but he wasn't really supposed to, so strat worked out perfectly as they would have expected from Heroic. Now, aggressive buy here coming in from Sprout. Not paying off. Stavin takes down Favin. A lot of map control gained by Spitty and Oscar though, but can't really use it for anything as the entirety of Heroic is moving towards the lower bomb side.
Second Nova has been picked up. Oscar got one on Inferno, and now Spitty's going to be trying to use the farmer gun wherever possible. Put some buckshot into Heroic if possible. 3 Galils. 2 flashes remain, and 1 minute 10 on the clock. Snappy's made moves into heaven. Cadian just underneath him, making sure all their angles are covered. The only player at the bottom side is Oscar for the time being, with his Desert Eagle. Now Sprout know they've given up a lot of map control here, so there's so many angles they have to watch out for. You can see that DreamHack's trying to watch main and heaven at the same time. Dennis though, going to be changing the pace up, but the timing's off. He was looking into lockers, and Cadian's position is now being known. I believe he saw another 2 players there as well, so at least information's gathered, but everything else is working against Sprout for the time being.
We're seeing the exact same tendencies as we saw on Inferno. Heroic, they're moving as a pack, they're moving as one unit. Have 1 or 2 guys tops to cover the flanks, and then 3 guys, potentially 4, always walking together in. They did it right here. They always, make sure there's trade fact potential. Always make sure that it's going to be incredibly tough for the Sprout to break through that defense, or offense it is in this case. But when you're moving around in a pack like that, it's so tough. It requires something special for you to rattle it up, and Sprout haven't been able to do that throughout this series so far. And Heroic can just keep working. You don't have to change a winning tactic. You don't have to change anything when it just keeps on working and working and working. Speedy with the shotgun right here. Trying to stir some chaos. Not going to pan out well for him either. He's going to walk into a player that's getting another frag right here. And the force bite didn't pan out at all for Sprout. Look at the damage towards the Heroic players. They took more damage from the bomb than they did from any Sprout player throughout that entire round.
It's a depressing statistic, isn't it?
Yeah.
But very accurate all the same. And it's more of the same, really, on Heroic. Another solid start. However, Sprout deciding against going for any kind of buy shenanigans. They're going to be holding fire for the time being. It's going to be some Deagles and P250s and a smoke. Some Kevlar for DreamHack at least, so if they can get a gun away from Heroic, maybe it could be propped up by the Kevlar. That's assuming, of course, that Heroic lose any players, which, judging off their performance thus far, doesn't necessarily seem too likely. Some damage inflicted, but only 5 in total. Across onto Squeaky, which is Stavin. The doors are also open. Oscar's taking the initiative, push through the ramp side. Does get a couple of speculative shots, but nothing that's going to stick enough to yield a kill.
Heroic keeping the calm right now, still staying together. Though a decent amount of pressure is being mounted by the Sprout guys. Borop getting the first kill on Spitty. DreamHack fighting back, able to reload, not able to do it in time though for him to get another kill. Now it's all up to Oscar, 1 versus 4 with a Deagle, and that ends right there as S-Attack puts him to the ground. And another round for Heroic, only losing 1 guy the past 2 rounds. Look at the money. 3 rounds into the game. Big bang build up already for Heroic, whereas for Sprout, this is the first full buy they're gonna have, and it's not even a full buy. There's gonna be lack of kit, lack of utility. No AWP on Oscar either. So not the strongest of the strongest buy from Sprout, but it'll have to be enough for now. Not the best start though. S-Attack finding another opening towards Dennis.
That does seem the summary of Sprout's journey so far at Leipzig. They get buys, they instantly die, and they're on the back foot. They can't really get a stranglehold over any of these maps that we've witnessed. Oscar with 4.6k couldn't afford an AWP even if he wanted one. Spitty had 5,000. I was curious if maybe they would drop and prioritize Oscar on the AWP as a huge linchpin player in the team, but they decided against it. And no one dipping down to FAMASs or pistols to get more grenades. They have gone for firepower, and so far it hasn't really worked out for them.
Surely hasn't worked out for them at all, in fact. And once again, we see Heroic slowly but surely moving together. 3 guys here and 2 guys towards inside. It looks like they want to split ramp, maybe. They're not taking any risk. They're just waiting for the mistakes from Sprout. They're making them second guess. They know they have the man advantage. There we go. Play towards ramp. Oscar winning that duel against Darwin. That's a good one, though. Staying alive with 12 HP. All up to Spitty now. He needs to get a frag or 2 there, right there by Spitty. That was beautiful. S-Attack with the refrag. He's aware there could be rotation coming in from the vents. 25 seconds left now. This is a good opportunity for Sprout.
One of the best they've had. You can see the barrel of guns sticking through the vents from DreamHack. That's more like it. He had a great start to the last map. He's starting Nuke off well too with 4 kills. And Sprout have got themselves on the first rung of the ladder, but there's plenty more they need to climb up to get back into this best of 3.
Exactly as we saw it on Inferno. DreamHack in these clutch moments when it gets down to a 3 versus 3, or 3 versus 2 for that matter. He's there to close out the round like the great Harvey Specter. Some of you may know from a cool series that I watch right now. Anyway, it's good to see them on the board. Good to see DreamHack finding some impact. Spitty as well. That double kill towards the lower bomb side, that was what initiated DreamHack's chance of closing out the round even. So he hasn't been having a strong series so far. He's been having a pretty lackluster tournament, to be completely honest. Speedy, that is, but if he can start to find some impact consistently now, then there's definitely a chance for Sprout to fight back. I want to see Oscar on an AWP as soon as possible, though.
Agreed. Completely alongside with you. I think that's where Sprout level up, when Oscar has the AWP in his hands. Burrup, Molotov down to Secret. Good flashbang. Dennis goes for the peek, but Heroic were quick to react and duck into cover. And there's not many more flashes or grenades left now on the collective utility belt of Sprout. One of them is just going to be tossed out for Oscar. Having a peek from lockers. Outside control is being taken again. Oscar's getting spammed up through the walls. He drops to 32. Good peek from DreamHack. That's also the bomb that's gone with it. And now Speedy, in amongst all of the chaos, is looking to try and capitalize. But he's walked into the trap that is sprung from Estetag and Burrup outside. So Favin, last man standing, just going to burrow in and hope for the best. See if they go for some kind of heaven dive, and then if he can drop the bomb, maybe there's an avenue back into the round. But, I mean, he's rolling the dice here. That's all he can really do.
You're not wrong about that. It is all he can really do in this position. Can't really do anything. An M4 in hand against 4 players from Heroic. They're getting the bomb planted, and at this point, you may as well just save it, bringing it into the next round, and hopefully you can make good use of it that way. But again, it's like it's the same story over and over again for Sprout. You see signs of life. They win a round, the next one, they're not able to follow it up. They're not able to string rounds together. We saw it on Inferno. I believe they won 4 rounds in a row, and that was the first time that I personally thought, all right, Sprout, they turned up, they arrived for the tournament, but from that point and onwards, it's been lackluster. It's been around here and there, and it's been some individual heroics, as you said, that's fueling them. But as a team right now, they're just not ready to compete against teams like Heroic. Not on this level, I feel. On a map like Nuke, CT side, you need to be able to string 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 or 6 rounds together, build up an economy, get an AWP to this guy, and give yourself a realistic chance of winning the game. But at this point, you're now facing another Force Buy or another anti-eco, and you're already down on the CT side of Nuke. It's not a great start by Sprout, but if you're a Danish fan, if you're a Heroic fan, you gotta be thrilled. 4-1 for them.
I see that Jame time in the crowd, but they need to get an AWP in the first place to even make that happen. Sprout, they've not been able to connect enough dots to afford themselves that opportunity. Molotov's down onto Hut. Estetag with the AK. More of the same. Favin's M4, the only real power play that Sprout possess. He is positioned where he could see action momentarily, but Heroic again are having a very good read of the situation. They're not rushing in head first and allowing Sprout to capitalize on mistakes. It's been a very disciplined performance by Heroic. I'm very impressed with them so far.
It's been a super slow T-side so far, considering how many, there's a anti-ecos we've seen already. You know, 3 of the rounds have just been pistols coming out from Sprout, but that doesn't mean Heroic is picking up the pace or anything. As you said, very disciplined, very structured, making sure not to give up too much space, making sure there's always trade frag potential, and even if there's not trade frag potential, that one guy who's alone is playing it safe, so you can always fall back now. The inside execution here, he's gonna burn again, down to 7 HP, taken down by Snappy. Favin finding a kill with the M4 here. Gives a bit of hope, but as soon as they say that, it's gonna fall apart. He burns as well, and it's all up to Speedy now. With an SG in hand though, strong weapon, but against 3 players, it's not gonna work out. Cadian takes him down, and Heroic with another round on the board, 5-1. But this is it now. Sprout, you need to make a stance. You need to buy up here. You need to get Oscar and AWP, and hopefully be able to string a round or 2 together and put on some pressure to Heroic. We've seen them crumple under pressure before. It's not an unbeatable team by no means, but right now they're looking strong, very strong.
Oscar with the AWP. This is what we've been waiting for. Is it going to be as prolific as we were hoping and expecting? A lot of hopes on this man right now. Still early days as a team, of course. We didn't expect them to come through here and start to kick everyone's asses, but Cadian has just taken the head off Dennis so quickly, partially through the blue container as well. Hell of a shot. And again, Sprout lose the first player in the first 15, 20 seconds of a round.
Yeah, it seems to be the reoccurring story in this matchup so far that Heroic are winning the majority of the opening duels, and Cadian again finding impact with the AWP. That was a bit too easy on Dennis, though. It's a nice shot, but I don't understand why Dennis is so confident just walking in behind that blue box and not really aware that an AWP could be spotting him. It's a big risk now. Dika in a good position here. Take down Cadian. He will go. There's another guy out the box side. Speedy helps him out with that. Favin as well, and it's falling apart from Heroic for the first time now. Good crossfires coming in from Sprout. Favin with a second kill in the round. Left up to Borup in a 1 versus 3. AK in hand. A single flashbang to his name, but that's it. Bomb down towards the inner bomb side. This is going to be a big task for the young Dane. Don't think he can do it. Lost the guy though. Not able to connect the shot. Speedy with a third frag in the round as well. Good to see Sprout making a stance here. Despite losing the first kill to Cadian, they regroup. Make sure Heroic is not getting away with this inside push.
Yeah, not too much in terms of tactical endeavors with the smokes. They went in a bit dry there, but again, they're keeping Sprout on their tiptoes. Now Sprout have to think about that going forward. What if they do go for that Venn dive? What if they do push out Squeaky? It will make them respected and burn valuable grenades at the start of the round. We just saw there. A couple of incendiaries were tossed out. Another one on ramp. Now we know that Heroic, other than the previous round, have been very slow and steady and methodical. That's a lot of utility that's been spent in the opening few moments by Sprout, and that could catch them up later on in the round.
Most definitely can. Still a decent amount of utility on both sides here. See Cadian working his way towards ramp as well with the AWP. Spitty ain't having it, putting down a smoke, and again we have another very slow round coming from Heroic. Seems like they're starting to rotate towards outside. They want to do the smokes towards yard, and by then they don't risk, you know, any counter molotovs, any counter smokes in that regard. They just have free passage towards the lower bomb side now from outside. There's gonna be one guy though, waiting for them. Gonna be Dennis. He's gonna push up, gets a nice flash from a teammate and gets the first kill. Finally finding some success in the entry duel department. Speedy spotting towards ramp, falling back, staying alive. That's beautiful. Oscar coming in with the AWP, being the backup. Not overextending, but he gets flashed out, and there we go. Esitex takes him down. And now it's going to be an inside split. And Cadian and Esitex combining for another frag right there. Beautiful stuff by Esitex. This is the aggression we talked about. He's so aggressive when he gets going.
Still very much alive and in the fight. DreamHack won't be for too much longer. And now Speedy 1 versus 4. I think save is the only word that's in his mind right now.
Isn't that cruel though? Esitex finds Oscar. Nice team flash coming in from his mate. Picks up his AWP, just instantly runs up towards heaven, catches a guy rotating towards heaven, falls down towards the bomb side and getting another kill. That's just a nice little sequence of entry frags coming in from Esitex right there, and exactly showcasing what you were talking about as well before, that when he gets going, when he's aggressive like he was towards Banana on the first map, then nothing seems to stop him. He's sitting at, I believe, 13 kills already now, 8 rounds into the game. 14, that is. My mistake. So Cadian did it the first game around. Now it's Esitex's turn, and maybe that's the story of the game, that Heroic have too many strings to play off, whereas for Sprout, when Oscar isn't performing well, it seems like it's a team that is falling a little bit short.
Also like that little jump that he did, anticipating that Oscar would be there, and if he managed to land the shot while flashed, it would be a leg shot as opposed to a chest shot, which would have killed him. Little cool nuances to the play from Heroic.
Surely, yeah.
Molotov into main. Dennis wanted to charge through with his MP9. This is leaving his teammates a little bit isolated, but that Molotov is going to clear momentarily. Event dive actually from the CTs, as outside control has already been lost. They want to be there to greet it early on. A lack of grenades means they may try and play aggressively behind these pistols and MP9.
Heroic have gained some map control early in the round this time around. They know they're facing a weak buy from Sprout though. Stavin with another opening, and as said, you know, the opening are not going the way of Sprout. Even the last round where they got one, they weren't able to capitalize on it. Stavin and Esitex's combining for another 2, and that's it. Round effectively over. There's nothing Favin and Spitty can really do to turn this one around, unless Heroic does something incredible stupid, but we haven't seen that at all throughout the entire game. They're playing so structured, they're playing together, moving as a unit. Spitty now getting caught off guard together with Favin though. There we go, 2 kills from Spitty, and there we go. Heroic actually getting caught off guard this time around. Spitty with another frag. making this a 2 versus 2, Staven down to 1 HP as well. Just as I sealed the deal and said there's no way, Spitty found a way.
A curse the commentator strikes once again. Smoke up into heaven. He instantly has to know he doesn't stop the bomb from being planted, or at least does for a moment longer, but it's at the cost of his life. It's not a worthwhile trade with 20 seconds to go. Staven now going to be watching heaven. Cadian tapping the bomb. Faven coming up, does get the first, and Cadian on 46 HP. Just below him has the but still lands the headshot. Skewers him with the bullet, and Heroic march on to another round. I thought that was Sprouts, man, especially when Faven got to that first kill, the 1v2.
Yeah, you know what, I'm on board with you. Spitty did everything he could in order to turn this one around. Heroic seemed to be in control, but for the first time in this matchup, they got a little bit ahead of themselves, but Cadian was there to rescue it. Still couldn't convert it into a round for Sprout, and if you don't win a round like that, then what are you winning? Oscar not connecting the shot either with AWP, sitting at 1 frag thus far in this game. A single frag to his name. A guy I have no problem saying is the best player on the server when he's in form, but right now, he's not in form. Right now, Cadian has been outperforming him throughout the entire series so far. Same goes on for S-Attack. I guess Heroic in a whole has just been outperforming Sprout. Oscar not able to connect on Borup as well, and that's another opening duel going the way of Heroic. This is slowly but surely starting to fall completely apart from Sprout.
Yeah, Heroic just looked like a well-oiled machine. Going to be aggressed on from DreamHack, maybe deciding, look, playing this one slowly is not working out for us. Let's take the fight to Heroic. Let's try and catch them unawares again. That's where they've had most of their success. If you think of Spitty's play, getting 2 or 3 kills in the previous round, it was just off a ramp push. It was off a timing peak from control room. So maybe if they can catch Heroic before they're able to plant their feet in the ground and fully set up for an execute, that's the way forward. S-Attack, though, the star man of Nuke thus far on 15 kills has been silenced momentarily. But Borup, Cadian, and Snappy face Dennis, Spitty, and DreamHack. He's already got 2 to his name and full HP. Just 1 smoke between the 3 of them and no kits, though. And the T's now starting to make a move over onto A, which is the one that's stacked. DreamHack is going to pick up a 3rd. He's potentially on for the ace as well. And he would have heard footsteps. He can definitely hear them now on the hut. There's 4 for DreamHack. Is the Polish player going to get an ace? You betcha. And Sprout going to get a 3rd round. But again, it's individual brilliance that yields them around.
It sure is. What an amazing display by DreamHack right there. Getting the ace, containing himself, being aggressive in the beginning of the round, getting 2 frags back at them, and then closing out the round once again. I feel like he's been the best performing player for Sprout throughout this series, without a doubt, especially considering this ace. But you said it yourself right there. It's, again, individual brilliance now. You need to bank off that. You need to find something behind that. Find some team structure. Find a way to, you know, ride on the momentum that you just had 1 player taking down the entirety of the squad that is Heroic. If you can't string rounds together, you're not going to win this game, Sprout. Simple as it is. You need to get at least 5 more on this CT side. 3 more, at the very least, you know. Make it somewhat competitive. 7-3 now. Can still win out the half, but I don't see too many signs they can do that. The money, though, on Heroic are not too good. I think this is going to be a fast inside push. There we go. DreamHack up for the task once again. Getting 1, 2, almost a 3rd one here to Snappy, not quite connecting it, and there we go. It's back and forth, a 2 versus 2. Oscar as well, not connecting either. Down to 8 HP and starting to look rough once again for Sprout.
These are shots you're expecting him to land as well. That's definitely in his wheelhouse. There were some great counter nades thrown in, which isolated the T's from each other. Puts it down into a 2-1-2. Damage inflicted to Cadian, trying to boost up. Flashbang out to the backside of the silo. Pardon me, it wasn't. Potential fake flash. Now Staven, with the weight of this round on his shoulders. Oscar has moved slightly to his left-hand side. He's anticipating a repeat, think he just saw him as Oscar drops down. Uses a safe drop, though. He's not going to crater. Out onto main. Spitty will push. And from lobby, Sprout will get a 4th round. So that's 2 on the bounce now.
And they stabilized. They stabilized that round. It was starting to look like it was getting out of hand. Spitty came in with a nice kill with the FAMAS. And Sprout, as you said, 2 rounds in a row. The first time we see them string rounds together. And it also cost on the Heroic side, as I was trying to say before they rushed inside. Look at the money now. It's been some relatively close rounds. At least the damage has been there on the economic. And now Heroic are forced into their first the game. They want to hit this inner bomb side. DreamHack going down to S-Attack. Nobody got caught from that one. Dennis though getting a nice refrag of that together with Oscar. Should be relatively easy here for Sprout to win the round. The bomb is going down on the lower bomb side though. Favin not going to be able to deny the bomb plant, but most likely will get the kill right here. Gets a headshot to his name, but survives with 11 HP. But that's it. 3 rounds in a row for Sprout, and they're surviving people as well. For the first time in the game, they're starting to build up an economy. Strong 3 rounds together as well, and put on some pressure towards Heroic. They got the bomb plant though, so they can buy into the next round with ease. But it's starting to look like something at least.
Yeah, that was a really cool multi-layered approach from Heroic though with that strat, sending 2 or 3 players on Squeaky, 1 outside and then 1 down secret. This whole idea of faking another rush and then getting the bomb plant guarantee so it does tick your economy forward for a good buy. Not a bad round for Heroic, but as you say, momentum's starting to shift in favor of Sprout. Make no mistake though, this could quickly still get closed out by Heroic in this round. So Sprout, you've done a good job, but you've got to be consistent from here on out.
Gotta get Oscar activated somehow. He's still currently sitting at 2 frags. Dennis aggressive towards Yard. Gets the first kill right here. Finally, the openings are going the way of Sprout as well. The question is, can he stay alive now? He's between a rock and a hard place. Dennis finds a way to get out of it though, and I think he gets another kill right there. He does. Dennis and Oscar combining for 1 each. DreamHack chiming in as well, and all of a sudden you see Sprout in full control of the round. Snappy left all by himself with an SG. Not much he can do. Players everywhere, basically. He can't even get out from here now. I believe that's Favin slowly getting up with him, and he's gonna close out the round. Another one for Sprout, 4 in a row. And as said, they needed to win at the very least 3 rounds. They've done that now. If they can win out the half and close it out 8-7, I would start to worry a little bit if I'm Heroic. Nuke is, yes, it's a CT-sided map, but not as big as it used to be. You can definitely string T rounds together if you get the money control, if you win the pistol round. We talked about it. We don't expect Sprout to win the game, but we would like to see a competitive game, and I think we're getting that right now, Vince.
Yeah, I'm curious if we are going to see Heroic try and tackle ramp again, because it seems like they haven't really given too much of the focus towards the ramp side. They did get down there early on in the half, which got them a B side into the actual round itself. But since then, they've been a little bit absent on ramp, so I'm really curious to see what they're going to have up their sleeve now. Got a bit of time to discuss things between the team. Their economy's in a bit of an awkward position as well, so they're going to go for a half buy. But let's see what the idea is here. So far, just going to be setting up that smoke wall outside. Keep pushing behind with some flashbangs. It's more aggression right off the bat, though. And the Molotov tossed down, that's going to burn them alive. No, actually, it's a bit too deep. They can run straight past it. Favin, in the meanwhile, with his SG, is going to go to task. And Oscar, up close with the Deagle, nearly gets 2. But that is a valuable weapon that's traded hands. And now the Deagle and the AWP can be used against the CTs. Cadian in his hands as well, the primary AWPer, who had such a good Inferno performance. He's surrounded. But a 2-on-1, already a costly round, considering that Heroic put very little into this other than a half buy. And Cadian could maybe, just maybe, steal this round away and break Sprout's heart. Spitty down on the staircase on control room, not making any noise. And Cadian also has control of the bomb. So as far as 1v2 goes, Pimp, this is very doable. But of course, as I say that, Spitty goes for the repeat and nullifies Cadian.
Nullify Cadian, he sure does. As said, it was an expensive round, but it doesn't really matter at this point in the game. Sprout still have plenty of economy left behind them, so they can buy into this very last round of the first half with all the guns, all the utility, all the pistols, even if they were to go with that. Look at that buy, that's a beautiful one. AWP, a single SG and 3 M4s, full utility. Heroic starting to sweat a bit here. Sprout with 5 rounds in a row. 4 that is, but still, it's better than we've seen them throughout this tournament. This is the best, period Sprout has had so far in Leipzig. So hopefully they can continue, finish it out here. Oscar haven't really found the impact just yet, but maybe this is what can restart his tournament as well.
Nice attack. There's the aggression again. He's going to be rewarded. A player around main, and there's one that's hiding in the smoke, and they're both chiming together. Dennis with 3 kills in quick succession. It's looking like Sprout are going to make that comeback a reality and lead at half-time. Who would have thought that at 7-3 behind? Cadian, 1-4, trying to bait out the players, and Favin is going to get Sprout across the finish line at 8-7 after the first half. Let's see if they can make this comeback, go all the way through and take it to a third after this break. Sprout were able to find some form in the dying embers of the first half and actually lead 8-7. Heroic let quite a big lead slip, and I'll be curious to see if they let that bother them going through into the second half.
Hopefully not. Hopefully we can have a very competitive second half. Both teams playing some beautiful Counter-Strike right now, and as we just saw by the end of the first half, DreamHack stepping it up big time, making sure to give them a chance to get back into this game. We're going to see a ramp rush now. That's going to be Snappy, and he's going to stay towards ramp. Stay till he dies. He got back up from S-Attack. Not able to connect the shots in the first time, but there we go. Cadian going down to Dennis. S-Attack getting one frag, and Snappy is still alive. A little bit of a messy round. Followed up by another kill by Burp. 3 versus 4 now. Not quite the success Sprout would have hoped for in this pistol so far.
They ran at the wall, and they bounced off it, and Snappy's bouncing bullets off heads. 2 kills in the blink of an eye, and it could be a third. Burp takes it away, but Heroic do get the second pistol. That's a big lifeline that goes with it.
Yeah, and they were actually gifted the chance right here to win that round. Snappy, he fought and fought and fought towards ramp. Normally you see the player just fall down and get away, but he knew he had backup from S-Attack under heaven. He also had a flash to come in with, so they fought together, but none of them were connecting the shots, so there was definitely opportunities for Sprout to get the kills. They couldn't connect the shots either, and at the end of the day, they ended up losing all the duels, which went the way of Heroic. So it's not like they're left without possibility. It's not like they're getting outclassed completely right now. There's still possible chances for them to fight back, but they needed that pistol. They needed to ride on that momentum from the first half. Now it's going to look a little bit rough again. Nuke is a CT-sided map. It is tough to play the T-side, but it's doable still, Vince. Still competitive. As said, DreamHack having one hell of a game so far. He's really put in some work to this Sprout lineup.
No doubt. Many people would have wrote them off going 7-3 behind with Heroic on the T side, and yet here we stand. Dennis 1 HP, Oscar 38, Snappy 37. Everybody else full health for the time being. No early casualties. That grenade gonna chip away Oscar. Fortunately for him, he decided to just pull back in the nick of time. Spitty being tagged up. He's super low as well, but Oscar's actually going to break the deadlock in the first kill of the round. Tag hiding on the close wall. Good timing on the peak. And Katie and Tag now ripping through the rest of Sprout. They did put up a bit of a fight, but ultimately it's going to be in vain unless Oscar can really twist the knife here and maybe put a couple of players down a peg or two and keep that economy honest.
That would be the best case scenario for Oscar and Sprout. They only have 15 seconds left to work with. That's going to be it though. Gets taken down. And another great round by Heroic. They got farmed a lot of money as well. Cadian with 2 MP9 kills. Small little detail. That's going to build up his bank for an AWP at some point in this game. So you can look out for that as we progress into the game. Progress into the second half. Invested into an AUG instead. I guess that's an AWP these days, isn't it?
Kind of the mini AUG, the SG, and the AUG now. It's not a gun that we see used too often anymore since the nerf. Burrup waiting for the Molotov to clear and then drops downstairs. Well, we highlight the AUG and it has got the first kill. Cadian's going back in for more, tapping himself to double success. Sprout have no more grenades left to play with. All they can hope to do is get some raw entries. And they're being shut down from every single direction. No success on the horizon on Sprout.
No, it's all left to Spitty and Oscar again. Going up against 5 players from Heroic. Seemingly impossible. Attack was his 25th kill of the game so far. 18 rounds into it. That is beautiful display by this young man. Attack, a player that we highlighted before the game. You know, he's not necessarily the star player of this lineup, but he's so aggressive the way he plays with the rifle. He's doing a good job right now, and he's making sure Heroic stays in control of the game now. Sprout, another round where they don't fully invest into it. They bought a lot of grenades. They have an anti-eco strat or force buy strat here, but they save money enough for the next round. Okay, them going down towards the lower bomb site. Attack trying to track him through the smoke, almost connected towards Dennis. Put him down to 39 HP, but not connecting the kill. Cadian will, though, with the AUG. That was a great investment. It's getting a kill on the start. Making him somewhat open. Got control over the lower bomb side now.
Oh, nice for Spitty. Trying to get down there quickly.
What was that, Vince?
I wish I had an answer for you, Pimp. I really do.
Yeah.
Maybe just trying to dart downstairs to help his brothers out, but the only thing he was quick at is putting himself in the coffin there. And now stabbing downstairs with a retake. A 4-player strong Heroic, everybody pretty healthy. Plenty of nades. But Oscar up close with a Tech 9. Only the 1 kill going to be forthcoming. They feel pressured to go looking for the kills, to take the fight to the CTs because they know they're behind in so many ways. And now Favin with a Desert Eagle is going to land a pretty tasty 1-tap. He's going to be looking for some more, but bam, down through the decon door. A good call from Heroic. They knew exactly what was coming up. And that's going to be the 11th round, and they've gone flawless so far on their CT side.
That was a successful round by Sprout. They got the bomb plant. They put on decent amount of damage into the economy of Heroic, only allowing them to survive 2 guys. Still, the bank has been built up, but could help them if they want to make this comeback. And now we see Oscar on an AWP. He has had a rough game, a rough tournament so far, but now's the time, sir. If you want to fight your way back, and if you want to make sure that your team stands a chance of not only staying alive in the tournament, but progressively going into the semi-final, now would be the time for Oscar to get something worked out with that AWP now. Another round where they go for the smokes towards outside, trying to send hits down there. Nestor finds the correct timing, just starts to spam through. There's a little bit of a gap in it right there, and that's, you know, at this level, Vince, it's not acceptable. It's simply not acceptable.
Completely agreed, and it's the same gap that they had in a round before when he nearly spammed up the player pushing Secret through the smoke, almost traced him through the smoke because he knew. Those are little mistakes that are going to cost you a great deal, especially at this level of Counter-Strike. Oscar now is going to flash into Garage. At least Sprout do have some outside control and some presence that's been established. But it's what they do with it that really counts. S-Attack, 120 ADR, over 25 kills to his name. There's a flashbang into the peak, but he's going to go down. Now it's down to Cadian. He can fall back, but he actually decides to stick around and throw the incendiary out. That's going to cost him his life. Overstaying is welcome, but fortunately for him, Snappy and Stavin are doing a solid job of cleaning up the rest of the T's. Spitty trying to fake as if he's already pushed the site to try and draw them down into vents with his AWP waiting. But they're not going to fall for this. They don't feel compelled to necessarily deny the bomb plant. They're okay with playing close plant instead and securing the round for themselves. Spitty has managed to escape for the time being. Flashbang out, misses his shot. Heroic with another retake on the cards.
Another unsuccessful round by Sprout. Heroic seems to be in full control of the game right now, putting their 12th round to the board. Still on that CT side, surviving 3 guys here as well. Plenty of money in the bank. It's getting harder and harder to find and pinpoint stuff where you think to yourself, all right, this is where Sprout can take advantage of the way Heroic is playing. They just seem to be so structured. Everyone is charming in right now. See STech on 26 kills, but the rest of the team sitting at 11, 13, 17. Only Borup haven't had the best game, but he hasn't really been needed in that sense, so it's tough for them. Kaden getting another opening pick right here towards Denny's, not successful getting down into the vents. You can't smoke outside because you have a gap in the smoke. You can't get your man down to vents. The only thing you can do is give Oscar an AK-47 and hopefully hope that he finds some success with it.
Thought at first that was the wall bang, but it's actually Stavin who was already up on the site. That took down DreamHack. Molotov going to force Borup, but be careful what you wish for. And as the Dane decapitates Favin. Now Spitty and Oscar with another post plant to try and remedy the situation. And the round proves to be terminal after all, 13-8. I just feel like we're going through the motions now with Sprout. They just don't seem to be able to do much after the bomb plant because they're so weakened on their journey there.
I agree. I think Sprout right now, and I said it before throughout this game, that it seems like they're not ready for it as a team to play on this level. Individually speaking, there's no doubt that some of the players have their level to be up here. Dennis had a few nice rounds. We know how good Oscar can be. This game has been very lackluster, to say the least, from him. Diha has had a nice series, a nice game here in Nuke, a lot of impact, but it's not the individual skill they lack. It's more so the team play, more so the chemistry in between the players. Not missing the smokes, making sure there's no gap in the holes, you know, making sure they work as a unit. It's tough to go up against a team like Heroic. And it's like that. Again, STech, he spots him. Couldn't connect the kill, but at least, again, he gets the position. It's not enough, right? It's not good enough for Sprout. This time, though, Dennis, surprise, surprise. STech overstayed his welcome, and this could be the opening they need.
There you go, Sprout, one of the best chances they've had. They've actually not lost too many players on their journey towards the site this time. Oscar in main, spray down onto Stavin. Seems to know that Snappy is lurking in the shadows of the smoke on vent. Cadian will be caught by Dennis and he tries to reverse up into heaven. There you go, Sprout, first round on the T side.
That's good, that's very good. Dennis changed it up. He didn't go towards lower. He actually went through the smoke into garage and then caught off STech, who was not expecting that at all. Got a few bullets in his back, and that was enough for them to open up the round, get another round on the board. Fans out there, they're still hoping for the comeback, and I would like to see it as well. I would love to see a third map between these two teams, because I think Sprout on Mirage, and especially Oscar on a map like Mirage, can be very deadly, but still, it's looking tough right now. STech goes down to 15 HP. Not successful with his Stavin as well, taking some damage from the Molotovs, but again, you know, nice Molotovs, nice presence, but you spent a lot of utility and you didn't really get too much out of it anyway, so I need to slow down. We can see the outside smokes one more time. Guess nobody told them there's a gap. Maybe it's on purpose, I don't know. Highly doubt it, but we'll see. STech puts down a Molotov. Make sure that's not going to be the plan this time around. Kind of sucks if you're Sprout, but they'll have to readjust, adapt to what they're facing right now.
That's a great read and great comms as well to extinguish that Molotov prematurely so there was no wall of smokes outside. It's really stalled and stymied Sprout. He decided not to push behind it. It's only Spitty that's going outside now. He has made up ground, but he is by and large alone. The rest of Sprout seemingly ready to spring into a ramp push. Snappy's not really been tested here too many times. Let's see if his trigger finger is nice and warmed up. Cadian gets flashed, fires prematurely. But this is where the Snappy and Cadian combo is crushing Sprout on their aggression. And it's just going to be a complete slaughter. Spitty, who was the player outside, is now wrapped around in towards heaven, but the rest of his team are gone. There's no foundation for him to build off. He's at least going to make sure it's not a clean sweep, but he's down to 1 HP. The round is gone. That much is for sure. Now it's how many kills can he get, or can he maybe save this AK-47?
I think at this point, saving is his best option. Bring it into the next round, but the problem is the rest of his team doesn't have that much money. Sorry, Oscar can afford an AWP. DreamHack can afford an AK as well, and maybe Spitty can drop one. But it's still going to be a lackluster buy in terms of utility, armor, and all that kind of stuff. So Sprout really not in a good position right now. It's about to be what you say is the last call of the day. If they cannot win the next round, if they cannot string a few rounds together, that'll be it. Heroic is going to send them home, send them packing, and you know, it'll be a shame because I don't think we've seen the potential of Sprout just yet. I think they have more in store for us. I think, again, you know, I've been very disappointed in Oscar's performance. I've been very pleasant with this guy's performance. DreamHack right here, he's kept them in the game, but the guy on the screen right there, he needs to step it up. He needs to offer more to this lineup. Maybe it's too soon to expect. He's still relatively new. Maybe they need more practice, but we haven't really seen that untapped potential of Sprout just yet, so hopefully we get to see that right here, right now. Oscar getting the pick on Cadian. That's what I'm talking about. Great start to the round.
Knock Knock closes the door on his way out. He's a man of manners. Cadian probably won't agree with that sentiment, as he now has to watch from the sidelines as his team battle for the next minute and a half, potentially, to try and get them back into this round. They are a team that have struggled, but it's still very early days for this squad. Be curious to see what they can muster up in the future. But if they want to go one map further, it's going to have to be flawless from here on out. And DreamHack caught, killed, and we're back to evens once again. Molotovs, smokes, and flashbangs still on the utility belt to Sprout as they smoke off the doors and Molotov in, but actually extinguish their own Molotov. That's a little bit awkward. Dennis is now going to try and push behind this. He may not anticipate the double peek. The bomb has been planted at the ramp corner. And Molotov's now being tossed into control room. Spitty keeping the dream alive, keeping his team in this. 2 kills. There's a grenade, though, that lands by his feet that claims his life. And Snappy, now flicking to the head of Oscar, leaves Favin with his back in the wall. This is a one-and-done sort of position. It depends on if they go for 1v1 duels or not. It could just come down to timing. He's hearing footsteps. Now they know exactly where he is. S-Attack needs to push this. He needs to get in there quickly. It's going to be very close. He may not have enough time. He does have the defuse kit and is just going to get there. Heroic have 6 match points now. 6 elimination points on Sprout.
And that's it. S-Attack 1 frag away from dropping the 30 bomb as well. What a game he's had so far. Not only has he been very instrumental in the rounds, but also in clutching and closing out the rounds as he just had a nice little headshot with the AK-47. Favin did everything he could in order to give Sprout another chance, but it simply wasn't enough. Despite Oscar getting the nice opening, they weren't able to convert, and they now face 6 match points against Heroic. They have to win this round, otherwise they are out of the tournament. Simple as it is.
Now, at least they do have plenty to play with. If they go out, they're going to go out on their shield. As far as Sprout are concerned, Heroic are not going to be given any freebies. S-Attack 1 shy of his 30 bomb. That spray not too far off. Again, though, in these kind of scenarios, Sprout have struggled. Oscar, it's his turn to go into main. There's the 1 kill. Maybe not anticipating a second player to push out. Molotov's now being exchanged, just making sure these second vents are dealt with. Cadian misses his chance. And Snappy is going to die as a result. Cadian now caught, and it seems like Sprout, at the very least, are going to get 10 rounds. Barring a really huge clutch from Stavin, who is all alone against all 5 players. We've seen a 1v5 earlier today, under very different circumstances. I think they know where he is too. He's being tagged up. He's made so much noise from each wall, which will last him like a paper thin. And Spitty puts the final nail in the coffin, so 10 rounds it will be to Sprout, bare minimum.
Bare minimum. That was a great round by Sprout. Surviving all 5 guys and also making sure to put on pressure on towards Heroic. Their money is not in a great state right now. They could potentially be forcing into this one, but given the fact that they have 5 more match points, I'd just save them. That's exactly what they're doing, not investing too much into this one. A few pistols, a few flashes on Snappy, but look at that. Even though they have a decent amount of money on S-Attack, Snappy, and so forth, there's no reason to invest more into it. They know they just need one more round to finish off Sprout. This one should be a Sprout round. Should put them on 11. But never say never, I guess. Dennis finding the first one. Bo-up going down, and now he's fully aware there's one player out there. Gives the rest of the team room to move towards inside. That it. Round is over, and it's all about staying alive. Now, even that, you know, the money has been built up from the previous round that Sprout can actually afford to go hunting, but there's no reason to. It's not like Cadian is going to bring in anything for the next round regardless, and there we go. Favin takes him down. 15-11 Sprout. With 2 rounds in a row now. We saw them in the first half all of a sudden string some rounds together, but this time around 6 is required. 2 of them has been taken already, but still 4 to go.
4 more chances. Heroic, as you say, playing the bigger picture, playing the longer haul. Didn't want to go all in on round 26. Therefore, they can't afford an AWP. It's still not ideal. They're still lacking grenades across the board and just the 2 kits. So that's fine. Just play 1 each side. Blower up. Going to go for the very quick rotation downstairs, but he's actually been tagged down to 15 HP as a result of that one. Cadian watching the close secret angle. Could be seeing action with Dennis, who does have an SG around the corner. Does Cadian check this angle? He's playing, anticipating that no one has already came downstairs. And Dennis is there waiting. This stalemate, this game of chicken that neither players know they're participating in. One false move, and someone's a goner.
This could be the duel that determines the fate of the Sprout round. And there we go. Cadian didn't win the game of chicken. Dennis takes him down, and all of a sudden they have full control over this lower bomb site. Diha as well finding a frag towards Snappy, and that's it. If I'm Heroic, I'm saving at this point. For the first time in this series, I feel Heroic is being pressured into a position where they're not comfortable. Stavin trying to find another frag. Oscar finds Bob, and so does Spitty on towards Stavin. It's only S-Attack left, and M4 in hand. 29 frags, but they're not good for anything right now. He needs to save this one, bring it into the next round, so hopefully he can do some damage with it. But look at the money right there on Heroic. It says 0, 150, 0, 0, 0. Not a lot of money to work with for Heroic in the next round. That's going to be another eco, and that's potentially going to be 15-13, which means Sprout could be 2 rounds away from mounting a big, big comeback here. The crowd is getting behind them as well. It's always nice to hear. But again, Vince, still 3 rounds to go.
Got to take each second, each step, each round at a time. It does feel like Heroic have become so used to being on cruise control. Now the autopilots come off and they have to learn how to fly again. With that M4, maybe S-Attack and bring this one home. Flashbang. Only bit utility that they have. And they're going to be going for a stack outside with S-Attack. Actually, a stack inside, pardon me, with only S-Attack outside on red containers. Looking for that early information. In terms of the setup, though, it doesn't really fill me with confidence here, Pimp, that much is going to happen for Heroic. Surely when these guns do come out swinging, if they do decide to push on A, there should be enough Molotovs and flashes preceding them. They can put them into awkward positions and mow them down with these assault rifles.
I definitely would buy that sentiment. S-Attack in a good position here, but 1 flash, and he's caught in the open, falling down towards the bomb site now. Gives him a little bit of more wriggle room to work around with, should he get flashed. Not sure what Sprout will do here. Still waiting for the mistakes. Favin down to 9 HP, and there we go. S-Attack walks in and brings down Diha as well. Dennis with the refrag, that's nice. The M4 is out of play, and there we go. Favin with another frag, but still down to 9 HP. He could be punished here, but now he's stuck in a corner. There's nothing Bo-up can do with his M4. I say that. What? Gets a nice kill on Dennis. Oscar there to refrag though, but This is getting out of hand. Stavan now in a position where he can actually be annoying as well with a P250. If you can catch off one player here, Favin, 9 HP, Oscar 67, there's a chance. This is not too comfortable for Sprout.
It's a glimmer, and it has been dulled out by Oscar. Cadian now at the back of the site. How he wishes he had an upgraded pistol. How he wishes he had anything right now than a USP. 8 seconds left. With a P250, I'd have almost felt that he could have pulled that one off. But as it stands, that's another match point that has been saved from Sprout. They continue to go towards overtime.
The question is, what is Sprout gonna do to get the last 2 rounds? I feel the lower split has been successful. Sending down Dennis towards lower with these smokes has been successful. Heroic must adapt to that. So what's the next play coming in from Sprout? DreamHack removing the door, putting on pressure towards inside. Trying to lock S-Tech inside Mini, but Stavan is there to help him out with a smoke, so he now has free range of motion to get away from there. Doesn't look like Sprout is entirely sure what they want to do just yet. Haven't really gained any map control. Haven't done anything so far. Still a decent amount of utility left though, so no need to panic just yet.
Whereas Heroic have actually depleted most of their smokes early on just for this squeaky control. Only have 1 left for Borup. So he said no need to panic. It seems like Heroic may have shot their nades a little bit too early here. This is where Sprout's Molotovs and their flashbangs could really start to come into play. You can see Favin's lining it up to land on the likes of the Hut to try and maybe execute onto A.
I think you're right about that. I think we're about to see an A execute. Once it flies in, it's going to be up to Stavan to deal with this.
Oh, but the Molotov's not actually landed on the Hut, so Stavan's okay to stand there, and because of it, Borup's just mowed everybody down. It's going to go to Heroic. A bit of an anticlimactic end, but they got there eventually, and Sprout couldn't pull off the miracle.
No, I like the idea from Sprout trying to change up the pace in the last round. It wasn't working. Borup with a nice 4K, and they put the nail in the coffin. Sprout can be proud, though, of that nuke. I think we saw some glimmer of hope. I think we saw some of that untapped potential we talked about. But at the end of the day, the Danes from Heroic were just a much stronger unit, a much stronger squad. S-Attack with one hell of a game. 31 frags, I believe he ended up on. That's insane, you know. That's a high level of Counter-Strike, so credit to him. But Sprout, again, you can be somewhat proud of your performance. Obviously, not winning is never fun, but we saw signs of life, and we didn't see that yesterday.
Absolutely, and again, there are positives there. This is a new squad. They haven't been together for very long. Sure, the core's been together for a while, but still, you have Oscar can click into place. DreamHack, for me, was very impressive, I've got to say. Didn't see him much before this tournament, and I'm sold. I want to see more from this guy in the future. Definitely a big Polish talent.
I agree. I think DreamHack was by far the best performer from the lineup of Sprout, and I think, you know, he's in a team right now, as we talked about, the structure of the team, the chemistry in the team, the players. They don't have that synergy going for them right now, so it's tough. It's a very tough environment to perform in, and yet he still did it. So I think as soon as they get that down, as soon as they get back home, get on the practice server and actually figure some of that stuff out, we could see DreamHack, we could see Oscar, potentially even Speedy unleashed. And again, as I said, there's a lot of potential within the Sprout lineup. We just didn't get to see that much throughout this tournament.
And the great news for Maniac, he's finally got one right.
Well, congratulations, Maniac.
I'm so glad you brought that up. He hasn't been letting us forget that he's finally got a prediction.
That's it. I'm done for today, guys. If anyone want to step in at desk, my job is done here. Got one prediction right. That's a good day.
Well, close but no cigar for Sprout. Unfortunately, they'll be heading home. And as the home crowd favourites, I'm sure the crowd will be disappointed. But I wanted to talk about Heroic because that was such an incredible performance from them, especially on Inferno. We weren't necessarily expecting that, being Sprout's map pick. It was a beautiful performance from them.
It definitely was, and I think, you know, DreamHack and Sprout, they tried their best to just throw some spanner in the works Heroic's way, but Heroic actually had so many nice set pieces on their CT side, banana control, mid control. It was really Cadian's proactive off plays. You know, when we speak about Cadian, we often speak about his impact outside of the server, his mentality, you know, gathering his teammates and making them get into the game, but really, he's been a consistent performer on this Heroic lineup. His op presence, it has been really, really spectacular to watch, and I think going forward and moving forward and having Cadian get more confidence in himself, we're going to see a lot more plays coming out of him.
Yeah, and this Cadian is the one I was talking about when I say he can take over the game, right? He really had that impact on the first half. Now, if you're Sprout, you have to be a little bit got a little bit disappointed by that Inferno because we just saw them have quite a game, quite the resistance on Nuke, which was Heroic's pick.
Yeah.
So where was this Sprout on Inferno? Heroic were all over this.
Yeah.
And I prepared the clip, and I don't know if production is ready to roll it, but just to show how Heroic, they were absolutely on top of things on Inferno. And it's actually a retake where we're going to see the utilities, and you could just see that is what happens when there's an experienced team in the server, and the way they utilize is absolutely beautiful.
I think that's what we kind of picked up on in the pre-game as well, that Sprout, it was kind of based on their individual performances, right? And that was their sort of falling point, was their experience as a team, that the lack of it, so more to say, which I think is a real shame because, as you said, Potter, we really were seeing that coming out in Nuke. They were getting a little bit warmer. It was a little bit better. It was for them to say. But Inferno, I want to talk about that a little bit more. Especially Cadian looked so good. I love seeing that aggression from him. It was absolutely beautiful. Sprout did try to switch things up though. I think that was an important point in that CT side, but it just didn't work. It didn't work out for them.
It didn't, but they did have opportunities. I do think that they were able to get into those post-plant scenarios more often than we expected. You know, a lot of these newer teams coming in, that seems to be their struggle, but they were winning those post-plant scenarios. I think if they were able to get some more points on the board, they would have had a chance because this Nuke showed that they had the grit to be able to grind rounds out.
Yeah, and the fact that they were able to mount a comeback on Nuke, even if it didn't pan out, I think it's very important for Sprout. Can you imagine if you come here with this brand new lineup, you play 3 maps, you never make it to double digit, you get flushed out so easily? That would have been a problem, but they actually put up a fight. But now back to Inferno. I was talking about this retake from Heroic, and I would really like to show it to the viewers because sometimes we talk about the utilities in Counter-Strike and how they can be utilized. Well, this is an example. Snappy was actually known in the apartment. There is no way for him to play in silent, so he puts down the smoke, the Molotov, then asks for a flash. You can see how life is so easy for him. This is DreamHack's view in the big pit. Can you imagine how annoying that is? Nade next to you, Molotov, flashes in your face, you don't see anything, can do absolutely nothing. That's the same happening on the side. Molotov is going down, making life very, very uncomfortable for the boost position. He has to look left, right, doesn't know, well, it's down. He has the time of his life. He can just go there, go to the Molotov, and pick everyone up. This is a good example when we say utility sometimes can win you around. It's not always about the kills. Sometimes it's how you organize the situation.
Now, we've been highlighting Cadian as a star player, and we are lucky enough to have him join us down here. First of all, massive congratulations on that win. I want to go back and talk about Inferno. It was a map that you just looked so good on, but it was Sprout's map pick. Were you kind of prepared for that to come up, and what was the focus in that game?
Yeah, we pretty much knew that they were going to pick either Inferno or Vertigo. They picked Vertigo against Big in an online game, which was kind of a surprise for us, maybe. And Inferno, in a way, it was a surprise, but we got our asses kicked by them in practice on Inferno like a week or 2 ago. So I think that some of the reasoning for that pick was due to the practice result, which is not always something that's reflecting in when you're actually playing the game, because, you know, in practice we are testing stuff and so on. So we were really happy with the pick. Usually, actually, with the same 3 men from Sprout, Speedy, Dennis, and Faven, we have been picking Inferno against them. So, I mean, in that sense, we were pretty comfortable with that map pick.
You looked so comfortable indeed. I want to talk about your performance in particular as well. That was so beautiful. I loved your mid pushes, your banana pushes on CT side. It was so cool to watch. But you are one of the newest members of the Heroic squad. What has it been like kind of integrating into the team, and how was your role? Has it changed at all, really?
I mean, it's the first time in 5 years that I'm not in-game leading, so in that way it's pretty much a different role, not being as vocal as usual, but the AWPing remains the same, still running around with the sniper and doing my things, which, especially on the CT side, you can see all the freedom that's given to the AWP player, which is, yeah, that's just how it is and how it should be. But yeah, I guess right now we're in a situation where we are past the honeymoon and we're past just being a new team, and we're trying to establish ourselves within the top 15 on the HLTV rankings. And yeah, a good result here is fairly important for us. So the Inferno was good. The Nuke, we had some things we definitely could have been doing better.
Yeah, exactly, indeed. I believe, Maniac, you've also got a question for Cadian down here.
Yeah, well, first, congratulations on the game. I just want to project onto your next game 1 second, and the fact that MSL is back in North. And I just want to ask you, do you think that makes them more predictable? Do you guys know what he's going to bring? Do you think he has a new game plan?
New game plan? I don't think so. I think he's going to stay to what he knows, which is a really structured play style. So as you say, maybe in a way he's more predictable, but I think the predictable part comes in maybe a month or 2 when there's actually like demos of them that we can watch. right now, like, what's our guess? Are we going to look at the old North demos from when he was playing there back then? Are we going to look at the Optic ones? Where are we going to look? So right now we don't know too much about them as a team, and obviously it's a big game for us. It's a big game for them. This group has been a big mess for Danish Counter-Strike and creating quite a roar. And yeah, we'll see what's going to happen.
Yeah, I kind of want to pick up on that a little bit because you heard Mad Lions yesterday, I believe they were saying that, yeah, we've definitely cemented ourselves as the second top Danish team. How do you kind of react to that, and what are you going to do to sort of push it up there?
I mean, sure thing, pal. I mean, look at the rankings week after week. We've been above those guys, so they can say all they want. We beat them last time in a qualifier as well. They've had a really good start to 2020. They used a lot of time and energy and having a lot of hours, and that's really showing right now. They're playing really good Counter-Strike, but we're aiming to meet them in the final. We instantly knew when we lost that best of one that that would be our main goal, to go all the way to the final and meet them again. So we really hope to do that because it was the best of one, and it was on our usual permaban. We took a risk. It didn't pay off. That's how it is sometimes. But yeah, that whole debate, let's not go too much into that.
Well, I'm very excited to see if you guys can pull that off and end up in the grand final. But don't go anywhere. After the break, we'll be back with Cloud9 versus Renegades.